is game 2 of the series from Truist Park for Atlanta. 4th career start for Spencer Schwellenbach. And with that, we go down and welcome in Hannah Yates.
Brandon, thank you. Well, Spencer threw a sinker in his most recent start for the first time ever. He said he wanted a pitch that could go into righties. The first time he started working on it was this most recent offseason. At that point, he didn't have a lot of confidence in it. He said some minor league instructors told him, keep working on it before you add that to the arsenal. But he took a 5-month hiatus, so he didn't start working on it again until a couple days prior to his most recent start. He threw a bullpen with Rick Kranitz and Sal Fasano, providing a lot of insight. At that point, they told him it's ready to go. He feels confident. It's something we will likely see again in this start here tonight.
Yeah, and it was a good pitch for him, too. And good to see Spencer at such a young age and so early in his career to show that ability to make an adjustment for a pitch that he hadn't thrown in a while. That two-seam fastball was a good one for him in that last start.
Wearing those home whites, let's see the lineup that he's going to be facing for Detroit and the Road Grays. A lineup brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. A lineup that Atlanta pitching held in check yesterday. Just 1 run for Detroit in game 1 of the series. CJ, how about your Ford keys?
Yeah, we have a little fun today. See if you can play along and thinking about contact. That was what was so good for Schwellenbach in his last start. Pitching to contact that got him deep in the game. How about, can I get a hit? I think the Braves are going to get a lot of hits tonight. And the reason why is Casey Mize is on the other side. He has really struggled against right-handed hitters. The worst batting average against in Major League Baseball.
Hopefully that continues here tonight. Schwellenbach first pitch outside. Right on time at 7:20 Eastern. Off we go. Matt Vierling, center fielder, is the batter. He was 0 for 4 yesterday. So you've got Schwellenbach pitching. 4th career start. What's interesting tonight for Schwellenbach is that he's a Saginaw, Michigan native, about 100 miles northwest of Detroit on I-75. But he did not grow up cheering for the Tigers because both of Schwellenbach's parents are from Wisconsin. So he actually grew up a Brewers fan. But all of his friends are Tigers fans, so they've been texting with him a lot about this matchup here tonight.
No doubt, and you get caught in between sometimes, but always pulling for your buddy, even when he is facing the team that you love.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, my friends are Braves fans tonight. And the 2-2 pitch from the Saginaw, Michigan native is fouled back, the cutter. Well, when you're working on a new pitch like Schwellenbach is, you don't go from using it 0% to 50%. So would imagine he'll incrementally work that up.
Yeah, we saw 9% usage for him in that last start, 0 the previous 2 starts.
He also has a good 4-seam fastball. That one right in there to take care of Vierling.
That good velocity at 97 miles an hour and caught Vierling looking. This ball's going to jump on you, and it does. Stays nice and straight, nice and true, with really good finish on it.
Great start for Spencer Schwellenbach. Now Winsel Perez, he pinch hit last night, was 0 for 1. This is his first start of the series.
And the thing I mentioned with the contact and what worked out so well for Spencer in his last start was that he was efficient. Now, those first 2 starts, the pitch count got away from him a little bit early. He was under 15 pitches per inning over the 6 in that last one.
Now pretty efficient here to start. 2 away. Perez is retired. Ozzie over there at second. Same infield per usual as we get a peek at that Braves racetrack defense. Forrest Wall, big RBI hit last night. He's out in left. And Travis d'Arnaud catching. Sean Murphy last night, d'Arnaud today. Now Riley Green. Green drove in the only run yesterday for Detroit. I mentioned yesterday that he leads the team in home runs and runs batted in. There's a skipper, A.J. Hinch, whose team is 4 games below 500 after the loss yesterday at 34-38.
It's a good cutter there and confident throwing it behind in the count 2-0. You get the late movement. You want guys swinging and thinking fastball, and That is exactly what Spencer did on that pitch. Good to see him have the confidence to throw that in a hitter's count in the zone.
Painted on that corner. Tony Randazzo is the home plate umpire tonight.
A relatively fair zone. He'll get a little bit wide on the lefties. Hasn't so far here tonight, but can be a little bit cold on the righties on the inside part of the plate.
2-2 pitch. Slider downstairs. Full count. And there is Casey Mize, former #1 overall pick, who will make the start tonight for Detroit. Schwellenbach looking for a 1-2-3 first. Huge cut from Green.
We'll talk about starting pitchers sometimes maybe limiting what they show you in the first inning, right? Trying to save some of those pitches for second, third time through the order. So far here for Spencer, he has thrown all 6 pitches, at least one of each.
And pitch number 16 of the first. Fouled out of play. There's the four-seamer. So Riley Green was a childhood friend and high school teammate of Vaughn Grissom, former Brave, who is now, of course, with the Boston Red Sox. Went there in that Chris Sale trade. But they grew up best of buddies down in the state of Florida. And Vaughn Grissom's buddy Riley Green will take a 2-out walk.
Grissom has had a hard time staying healthy since he joined the Boston Red Sox on the IL again. He's only played in 23 games so far this season.
Yeah, it's been a tough one for him. But those two still stay in touch. Both in that same draft class in 2019. A strike to Mark Canha, batting cleanup here tonight. He had a couple of hits yesterday. Oh, 0-2. Good slider from Schwellenbach.
And you can see the difference there, right? That's at 89 miles an hour, bigger break, but stays relatively flat. Good kind of left to right break compared to the cutter. That's going to be about 92 with a smaller and tighter break to it.
Spencer kicks, deals, and struck him out on 3 pitches. Slider again. Riley Green is stranded at first. Mark Canha. A little whiff, little taste of some fresh Atlanta air on we go to the bottom of the first. Jarred Kelenic back in the top spot in the order for Atlanta for the 4th straight game. Let's get a peek at what Brian Snitker is rolling out there tonight from your local Toyota dealers. As I mentioned, another start for Forrest Wall, batting 8th. And got the RBI hit that tied the game and then set up the Ozzie Albies winner on the homer yesterday. So Casey Mize, former #1 overall pick from Alabama, played at Auburn and now back here in the South pitching against the Braves.
And after missing a significant amount of time healthy again this season, he's been okay. Not a big time strikeout pitcher. The average against him has been pretty high. 13 starts so far this season. He's not necessarily going to overpower the Braves, even though he has a good fastball that sits around 95 miles an hour. 307 batting average against that heater. He's got a slider, a split, knuckle curveball, and a 2-seamer.
0-2 pitch up the middle for a single. That's the 4-seam fastball. And Kelenic takes advantage for a leadoff hit.
And a great job hitting with 2 strikes here and just trying to make something happen for Jarred Kelenic. You can see the mislocation. They're trying to go up above the zone. He doesn't get it there, and that gives Kelenic an opportunity to get his bat on that baseball.
So Kelenic continuing to enjoy the top spot in the order, and now yesterday's hero Ozzie Albies takes that outside. But yeah, for Mize, I mean, you've got opponents hitting over 300 against that fastball, and makes a mistake to Kelenic. There's the storyline on him. You mentioned Tommy John missed most of 22 all of last year, and now his 14th start of the season.
And those 150 innings that you saw there, that's the most he's had since college. That was back in 2021, and it's been an issue for him staying healthy and trying to rack up some innings. He had 114 innings at Auburn, and he's only been over that number once as a professional.
Now, certainly a huge prospect when he was drafted, #1 overall in 2018. Now 27 years of age is the 6'3" righty. Kelenic breaks for second, and Ozzie fouls it off, so he'll return to first.
Yeah, as good as these catchers have been, it seems like the first two starters in this series have had a little bit of an issue with the base runner. 6 stolen bases against Casey Mize here so far this season, 6 for 10. But Tiger catchers have been good, second best in the game when it comes down to cutting down those potential base stealers.
Another foul ball on the 98-mile-per-hour heater. Kelly says he's okay.
Ozzie getting right underneath that, the two-piece mask that you see there from Kelly. Different philosophies on whether you go to the hockey style mask or the two-piece, which one is better for the impact on those foul tips. I don't think it's fun regardless of what mask you're wearing.
But thankfully that didn't appear to faze Kelly too much. Ozzie laces this fair down the right field line. It'll rattle around to the corner. Kelenic's around third. Ozzie wants 3. He's got 3. Kelenic scores, and the Braves lead it in the first.
Well, instant offense here to kick things off. This is the knuckle curveball. It is in the zone. I don't think that's where Casey Mize wanted it, and you get Ozzie all over this thing into the corner. It's a great read. Watch Matt Tuiasosopo waving in Jarred Kelenic. He got some kind of lighter arms here in the outfield for the Detroit Tigers. He knows that. He sees an opportunity to put some pressure on that defense. He does, and Jarred Kelenic has been excellent in the leadoff spot here the few games that he's been there.
So the infield already going to come in here. But the Braves with a single and then an RBI triple from Ozzie to grab the lead.
It's an interesting pitch there, you know, for the curveball with Mize. Lefties, it's one of the few pitches they haven't touched this year, but too good of a pitch to Ozzie.
This will reach the seats 0-2 to Marcell Ozuna. Well, for Ozzie Albies, he had that stretch where he had been 0 for 15. Then he hits the long home run last night, and now the double. So he's really starting to come around. Ozuna, a liner to left. That'll produce another run. The National League RBI leader strikes again. 2-0 Atlanta.
Kind of incredible here to see what Casey Mize tries to do with perhaps the best hitter in baseball right now in Ozuna. This is a 2-strike pitch. It's 0-2. Back-to-back, I should say back-to-back, but Jarred Kelenic now on Marcell Ozuna on 0-2 counts, getting pitches that they can handle. Of course, Ozzie got himself one as well, and so lack of execution here in the first inning with 2 strikes. The Braves have been all over Casey Mize.
It was last season where the Braves scored the most first-inning runs in franchise history, 147 of them. And the Braves doing something similar here in Game 2 of the series against Detroit so far.
All smiles for Baby Bear early on.
And smiles for Big Bear, too. 63 runs driven in now, as I mentioned, most in the National League. Splitter that time, fouled out a play, 1-2 from Matt Olson. Fouls back to 2-2.
So you can see the struggles, right? When Casey Mize gets himself in a situation and trying to get that 3rd strike, he has not been able to get the swing and miss. He's not fooling the Braves at all in the sense that they might be taking a tough pitch with 2 strikes. He's a contact pitcher, and there's been good contact here 3 batters in.
Single, triple, single so far for Atlanta. Olson, weak grounder, and Mize will toss to first. Ozuna gets to second base with 1 out as we take a look at the Tigers defense. Brought to you by Racetrack. Green, Vierling, Perez left to right in the outfield. Urshela and Can at the corners. McKinstry and Keith up the middle, and Carson Kelly is a battery mate for Mize.
That infield defense, left to right, all negative when you look at defensive runs saved. -5, -2, -8, -2. There's been some struggles. Now, it doesn't tell you the whole entire story, but we're far enough into the season where you can look at some of those metrics. And Urshela at a -5. Colt Keith at a -8 over at second base.
Thankfully, the Braves infield has pretty much been the opposite. And one of those infielders that's been so good, this guy right here, Austin Riley. Continuing to hit last night, a pair of doubles for Austin. He stayed away from the 4-seamer high. Broken bat and a soft liner to Keith for the second out. Let's take a look at our defender key defense. When the Braves score first, 25-11. Detroit 8 wins when allowing the first run. That's the 4th fewest. So you like the recipe so far.
You do, and it really does kind of stay pretty consistent throughout baseball. And the idea of scoring first, as much as it may sound like a cliche, it absolutely matters. And the Braves have been crushing it in these opportunities.
d'Arnaud hits that well to right. However, going over Perez, he almost overran it, but he does make the catch. Braves get 2 though. Kelnick with a single on an 0-2 pitch, and Ozzie that triple down the line, and the Big Bear delivering an RBI hit of his own. Sunshine tonight here in Atlanta, and the Braves up 2 as we head to inning number 2. Hey, since the 21 MLB season, Truist has donated $755 to the Henry Louis Aaron Fund for every Braves homer, continuing that through the 25 season. And as of June 18th, $57,380 raised on the 76 homers. Gio Urshela is leading off the second for Detroit. Speaking of those homers, the Braves had the 9 homers in the series against Tampa Bay, the 1 yesterday by Ozzie, so 10 homers in the last 4. The 14 games prior to that, the Braves had 10 total, so they've hit as many in the last 4 as they had the previous 14.
Yeah, they've been on a great run, seen the ball well. Obviously some really good contact. There's been adjustments in the lineup with that man right there, and Jared Kelnick having to hit leadoff, but he seems extremely comfortable, and we're now 3+ games in, and he has been terrific with a couple of home runs out of the leadoff spot.
Meanwhile, Schwellenbach with a 1-2. Reaching for it. Liner to Ozzie. No problem. 1 away. Well, these two pitchers, they kind of have their roles reversed a little bit. I mentioned Schwellenbach from Saginaw, Michigan, 100 miles away from where the Tigers play at Comerica in Detroit. And then on the other side, you got Casey Mize, who's from Springville, Alabama, 2 hours west of Atlanta. But pitching against teams that they were very familiar with as kids, and now going against them. Line drive, and there's a solid single by Colt Keith out to right field.
And for Casey Mize, getting that first start here in Atlanta, probably something that he had been thinking about for a while. You get drafted by the Detroit Tigers, you're not going to be in Atlanta very often, but now, of course, with the new schedule every other year, the Tigers will be visiting us here at Truist Park.
Yeah, he's got, does Mize, about 50 friends and family here from Alabama watching tonight. Justin Henry Malloy, as we documented last night, his final season of college ball played at Georgia Tech. Getting another start here tonight as the DH.
And interesting too, right? He hasn't seen Spencer at all. We know he's a pretty patient guy, but to offer at a 1-0 slider just tells you this guy is hacking at pitches inside the zone, but has shown the discipline not to go outside the zone very much. Like that. That's a great take in a 1-1 count.
Swinging there and missing at the cutter coming inside.
He's a pretty fascinating guy. You see how big and strong he is. We saw the swings yesterday. He's letting it fly every single time. Strong lower half that you have there. We know there's pop in that bat.
And again, the Braves drafted him 6th round of 2021 out of Georgia Tech, but then he was part of that Joe Jimenez trade in December of 22. Schwellenbach 2-2 and another foul ball. In the air, shallow right. And Duvall coming in and waiting, and there's the second out. Quick message right here from Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
Zach McKinstry just got serenaded by a little Saved by the Bell as he walked up to the plate there in honor of Zach Morris. And he takes a strike right down Broadway 0-1.
So of course that was Mark-Paul Gosselaar, right, who played Zach. A little name drop for you. There was a show on Fox a few years ago, more than 2 years ago, called Pitch. It was a baseball show, and I had a couple of cameos in it and got to do a scene with him, with Zach from Saved by the Bell. He played the catcher in that TV show.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Zach McKinstry, and on we go to the bottom of the second.
It's been the best in baseball, and the 710 OPS. Why do we bring that up about what they've done against righties? Well, Casey Mize has really struggled against right-handed hitters. We talked about it earlier. 336 batting average against. That is the worst in baseball among starters with at least 12 starts. And that makes this an interesting matchup to me for Adam Duvall, because he has scuffled against righties. That is no secret this year, hitting just 081. But he had a really good swing last night, and you're starting to wonder a little bit, maybe could this be the guy who has been bad against righties that could get him out of the struggles against the right-handers this year.
Fouled back that four-seamer, 1-1. Yeah, still all of his homers this year against left-handed pitching. Well, he just missed a homer last night that would have been a long ball in 22 of the 30 major league parks, but the wind caught it at the track in left center. Bounces it to third. Urshela backing up. Line throw, and Duvall is safe at first. You mentioned, CJ, how this infield, particularly Urshela and Keith, have had their issues, and they show up there.
He was such a good glove man when he first got to the big leagues, but things have changed as he's gotten a little bit older. He made the decision to back up instead of come and get this baseball. He still had time, but it was the throw that ended up going wide. It would have been a close play, but with the throw offline, he's easily going to be safe, and another error for the Tigers.
So the leadoff man aboard again for Atlanta, now showing bunt. Wall lays it down. You know he's got the speed. That's a hit, baby. He laid that thing down perfectly.
And the timing on point there, right? You have the bad defensive play prior. You're already ahead 2-0. Casey Mize probably feeling it a little bit. And this is a really nice job by Forrestwall. That is not an easy pitch to bunt. You get a breaking ball that is down. He stays in there to make sure he gets the bunt down, and then he just turns on the wheels, and it's game over.
So Forrestwall, a big RBI hit last night. Beautiful bunt single there. 2 on, nobody out. Now Orlando Arcia.
I'm really glad that they didn't throw him out for a lot of reasons, because then it would have went down as a sac bunt. The Braves are the only team in baseball right now that do not have a sac bunt. The Tigers are second. They only have 1. 2 fewest teams in baseball when it comes to using the sac bunt.
So that continues. How about bunt base hits?
I don't have it in front of me, Brandon, but I could certainly find it for you. But I don't think we've seen a lot of that from the Braves this year, at least off the top of my head.
No, I mean, it just hasn't been how they've operated here in recent memory. 2 bunt hits this year for Atlanta, I'm told.
Yep, so that was number 3 there that we saw, and that's near the bottom. They were tied for 21st in baseball coming into this one. The Padres and the Nationals and the Royals 12 apiece.
Orlando takes that slider way outside, 2-2. Was Mark-Paul Gosselaar a good catcher, by the way?
So the scene that we did was actually a studio scene. He had gotten hurt, and so he was sitting on the panel for the All-Star game with me and Chris Myers and Dontrell Willis. It was pretty fun. He was great.
So you didn't get to see his athletic prowess.
I did not. There was scenes where he was the catcher and catching the pitcher. It was the first female pitcher in Major League Baseball. That was the kind of whole thing behind this series pitch, which was pretty fun. And the thing that was maybe even better than getting the opportunity to do a scene with him is that Regina King directed that scene.
Wow.
Which was pretty awesome.
Grounder and another foul ball. So you have an IMDb page.
I do. 2 credits for me.
Wow.
One on the big screen and one on the small screen.
Okay. Well, folks, I'm a little out of my league now up here.
Yeah. I'll be signing autographs later. If anyone wants to stop by and
Chop House
talk
area?
about my days in Hollywood.
Okay. We'll set up a table. $5 a head. Again, the 2-2 sent out to center field. Vierling will grab it. Runners stay put. Casey Mize, the pitcher, was the #1 pick in that 2018 draft, and now the guy who was the #6 pick in that 2018 draft to the Mets, Jarred Kelenic, digging in.
That was kind of cool to see. I mean, we're talking about 6 years ago and how things ultimately play out in a draft, and now these 2 guys facing each other, one out of high school and one out of college.
Interestingly, nobody from that 2018 draft, some pretty good names, has made an all-star team yet. Joey Bart went 2nd. Alec Boehm having a good year in Philly. He went 3rd. Nick Madrigal 4th to the White Sox. Jonathan India 5th to Cincy. And then Kelenic 6th to the Mets. And you know who went 9th in that 2018 draft?
Only because I'm looking at it. And it's been kind of a crazy story for Carter Stewart, who is now playing in Japan for the SoftBank Hawks, the team that I played for the 2 seasons that I was in Japan.
1 and 2 to Kelenic. But yeah, Kyler Murray was taken 9th in that draft.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at 8. I'm sorry. Carter Stewart was 8 for the Braves that year. Yeah. And then remember, he gave a good chunk of his signing bonus back to go play football. That was a bad break for the A's.
Boy, it was. They signed Kyler Murray for $4.66 million. And then, of course, he would be taken after winning the Heisman Trophy the next year with Oklahoma, #1 overall in the football side of things.
And wasn't it that the A's were like, yeah, go ahead and play football, because he really wasn't a football prospect at the time?
That changed.
Yeah, really fast. He's like, you know what? You get a bigger guarantee going in that NFL draft, so I'll give you a little bit of your money back. And it just, the thing that is unfortunate for the A's is there's no compensation with a pick when that happens, and they really unfortunately ended up wasting a top 10 pick.
Downstairs, good eye by Kelenic. That slider just missed. 3 and 2. Tough for the A's, but for Kyler Murray, he's currently on a 5-year, $230 million deal with the Arizona Cardinals. So things worked out okay for him.
Good choice. The A's should have said no when he asked if he could play football one more year.
Swing and a miss. You heard Kelenich's reaction. He feels like that's one he could have really connected on.
It's a slider in the zone. You get the full count. Might have been gearing up for the heater a little bit, but we know Jarred Kelenic does not get a lot of fastballs, and he'll go back and watch this and ask himself, man, how did I miss that? We talk about Mize being such a big-time contact pitcher, not a lot of swing and miss in his game. Eyes might have got a little big there for Jarred Kelenic.
Ozzie had the RBI triple last inning. In on the hands, Urshela will go over, but he will not have a play. Yeah, look at that. Justin Verlander gave it to the little fella. Down and in around the ankles. 2 balls and a strike. Duvall still out at second, Wall at first. And a 2-2 count to Ozzie Albies. Two down in the second inning. 2-2 pitch. And outside, so full count. Now those guys can start their wheels. Marcell Ozuna would be next.
It was a good take by Ozzie. We know he has a tendency to expand the zone. That was a good change of that move late, but it feels like the guys are seeing the ball pretty well out of Casey Mize' hand. And so even when he throws that pitch that maybe sometimes we see Ozzie offer at, you get a little bit of a longer look at it, and it's easier to lay off of it.
Here's a 3-2 down the third base line, and that one just going foul. It would have been an infield single, but Ozzie will have another hack.
It's kind of almost out of the Women's College World Series. If you watch softball, what the lefties will do and kind of those little slap moves. My wife played softball in college, and same kind of thing. Just shorten your swing and slap it to the left side. Even if you're not a left-handed hitter, those girls can do that. And Ozzie breaking out a softball move there.
Already the 48th pitch here for Mize. We're only in the second inning. Line drive, just foul. That was almost a carbon copy of the triple he had in the first. Kind of a similar wind to what we had last night when Ozzie lifted that ball into the chop house and right. It is blowing out that way. So a little tougher tonight to hit it out to left. Down that left field line, but this one is also going to tail foul.
And it's a good battle here right now, but for the guys on the Bates pass, they're going to feel it here a little bit and getting started and taking off and thinking about trying to potentially score. Adam Duvall, and Forrest Wall, we know, loves to run, but I think Adam's had about enough of this.
Hey, come on, Oz, put it in play. Ninth pitch of the at bat. Well, there will be a 10th. And the Bee Gees get some more love.
So last year, Ozzie led all of Major League Baseball in foul balls. You know, we can track everything these days, and you can see why. His ability to cover the entire zone, keep at-bats alive, get deep into at-bats, fight off the pitches you don't like until hopefully you get the one that you do. Here we go. Pitch number 10 of the AB. And
fouled into the Braves dugout. Austin Riley had to get out of the way. Thankfully, that did not hit anybody.
Adam Duvall might need the oxygen mask when he gets back to the dugout, whenever that actually does happen.
And now Mize steps off. Looks like he's having trouble with the pitch count. Will we have a result here? We will not. Come on, Bee Gees. There we go. What does 3 mean? Probably means, hey, try to get him out. Payoff pitch. Hey, foul ball.
Well, it's been a great at-bat. You want to see Ozzie win it ultimately. There goes Adam Duvall. I mean, I was worried about him like 5 pitches ago, and he's still hanging in there. But the good news here, of course, is that you are driving that pitch count up. 53 now for Casey Mize in an inning and 2/3.
Yeah, they're already stirring in that Detroit bullpen. But who's going to win this marathon? 3-2 into center. Vierling drifting back. He is at the warning track, and he's got it. And the Braves strand 2. Took a lot of pitches, 13 of them, but on we go to the 3rd. Braves PR saying that Adam Duvall will not need an IL stint. He's going to battle through and stay in this game. Sean Murphy got him hydrated. That was a lot of running, though.
It was, and not fun. And you're, of course, looking for that big outcome and nothing to show for it. And a pretty long kind of rest period there for Spencer Schwellenbach as well. Something to keep in mind.
Adam back out in right. Yeah, we'll see how Schwellenbach adjusts here. He's looked good through 2 innings. A walk and a single, but nothing else against him. Ninth batter in the order here, Carson Kelly, the catcher, with a 1-2 count.
It's a good curveball there. We have watched Spencer now 3.5 starts into this thing, and that curveball has stayed arm side. We talked about it last time. That one there, he did a good job getting it away from a righty. And if he can do that with a little bit more consistency, that is another weapon he'll have in that arsenal.
Struck him out, and it's that curveball again. So 3 strikeouts first time through the order, rather 4, excuse me, for Schwellenbach.
Yeah, again, back-to-back curveballs that he gets away to the glove side. This is not something that we saw with much consistency in his first 3 starts. And again, that is a good sign, because you see an ugly swing there against a really good breaking pitch.
Top of the order, and Vierling. But you look at Spencer's first 3 starts. He had 5 strikeouts in the debut against Washington, 4 at Boston, 3 at Baltimore. Now he already has 4 here in the 3rd inning.
And on 4 different pitches for each of them: curveball, split, slider, and 4-seam fastball. He's got plenty in the arsenal. As you take a look at that last start that he had, it was a really efficient one as well. I mentioned less than 15 pitches per inning over those 6 innings. You don't need a lot of strikeouts. All we talked about contact. They're fun to get, but 6 innings with 2 earned runs is where it's at.
Orlando Arcia hardly had to move for this one. Quick message right now from Alpha Insurance.
Hit a home run on your insurance needs with Alpha.
So 4 in a row retired by Schwellenbach. He'll try to make it 5 here as Perez looked to lay down a bunt, but he lays it down foul. That last start in Baltimore, which, as we said, was the best for Schwellenbach so far. That's when he faced his former college Nebraska teammate Cade Povich, and now 1 start later he goes up against the team that grew up just a couple hours from Detroit. Line out to right. Well, whatever he's facing, he's doing well right now. 1-2-3 third. it's been. Let's take a look at our Xfinity Game Changer feature. So comparing him to Shohei Ohtani, all the numbers for Ozuna right now are better, CJ.
He has been better. I mean, there's no two ways about it. We're not digging deep and kind of coming up with some stats that we can twist it in a way that makes Marcel look better. He has simply been better. I saw a ranking today by the MLB.com writers for MVP early on here in the National League, and Shohei Ohtani was first. And I was like, you know, he's not pitching this year, right? It's almost like they forgot. I get it. When he's pitching and doing that offensively, he probably should be the MVP every single time. But that is not what is going on so far here in 2024. And Marcel is doing it at a time when this Braves offense has struggled, right? He's been incredibly consistent. Shohei Ohtani has been hitting in front of Mookie Betts, who, of course, now is on the IL, but he's been dominant. Freddie Freeman right behind him, like he has had great hitters having great years all around him. It hasn't been the case necessarily for Marcel, which I think is making what he has done so far this year even more impressive.
And made that little guy happy over the last few days since he came into the world.
I have to drag Mark Bowman in here and find out what's going on with those MLB.com writers.
Yeah, right.
What are they doing? How is Shohei right now considered to be the MVP?
Well,
he's
look,
not even the best DH in the league.
Yeah, look, it's the name effect, right? I mean, he is the biggest name in the game of baseball, and so people, and he's with the Dodgers, and that can be a little unfair to guys like Marcell Ozuna. When you compare the numbers, it's clear that Ozuna right now is having the better season. Ohtani having a great season. Yeah. But you made the great point. If he's not pitching and you just compare the offensive numbers DH to DH, it's hard to argue against Marcel right now.
Yeah, Braves fans got some work to do to get out there and get those votes in for Ozuna. He absolutely deserves it. He'll be there one way or another, but it would just be great to see him get that opportunity to start in Arlington.
Ground ball, diving stop by McKinstry, and he throws on it. He does get it. Good play by the shortstop, 1 out.
That certainly was, and even with Marcel going as good as he is, it takes great defensive plays and ranging to the left. And no Javi Baez, who we know is a really good defender. He's had a rough go of it offensively since he is signed with the Detroit Tigers, but McKinstry filling in nicely.
They said Baez did resume some baseball activities today. He's on the 10-day IL battling a lower back issue. But McKinstry's been getting the lion's share of the reps with him out. Matt Olson, one of 3 Braves that had actually faced Casey Mize before today. Kelenic and Ramon Laureano, who's on the Braves bench. The others, all 3 of them, though, only 3 at bats against Mize coming into today's action. Ooh, my, that was going in hot into that Braves dugout. Looks like everybody's okay. Spencer's the only one there on the back bench, yeah. But it didn't hit him. He's fine.
If it hit Sal, he'd be used to it. He's told me, and I joked with him one time, so I hit him twice in a game when he was playing for the Royals and I was pitching for the Tigers, and he's like, I think I've been hit like 300 times in my career. So he's used to taking it both from pitchers and from batters as well.
Casey Mize is able to get Olson. Austin Riley has been bringing the lumber, no doubt. Brought to you by Yellowwood. Last 4 games, 3 doubles, 3 homers, and 8 runs driven in.
Yeah, really locked in and good to see for Austin. Well deserved. You see the change in the lineup, and he drops down a little bit, and that seems to have served him pretty well.
So those 6 extra base hits for Austin over the last 4 games match the total from his previous 38 games as he continues to work his way out of that slump. No balls and 2 strikes.
Something we didn't point out at the time for Spencer Schwellenbach, what he did so well after that long inning. It only took him 9 pitches to sit the Tigers down and get Casey Mize right back out there. And Mize had to use 12 pitches to get through the first 2 hitters. Putting a little bit of pressure on him as, again, we continue to see that pitch count climb. And in a year coming back after Tommy John and missing so much time, they're going to probably be pretty careful with him.
Yeah, that surgery back in 2022. What was tough for Mize is that he had a very solid 21 season. But then the injury wiped out a year and a half, and now mixed results, as we told you so far this year.
And with the issues that Major League Baseball has had with the uniforms, we really can tell when guys are sweating now. And it is pretty obvious that that entire jersey has nearly changed colors.
Just the bottom of the sleeve, the only safe space right now. Just a touch high, 2-2.
Carson Kelly made that pitch look better than it was.
Tried to frame that one as well, but a full count. Tigers had some guys up and walking around and stretching in the 2nd inning when the Braves had 2 on with nobody out, but they've all sat down. Right now it's all about Mize. Ooh, line drive, and then that gets by Keith. It almost hit the pitcher Mize. Keith couldn't handle it, and Riley reaches.
Well, he absolutely smokes this baseball. It's 103 miles an hour off the bat, but Keith was there. I mean, he was right in position to field it, even though it was hit really hard. I mentioned some of the struggles that they have had, and he's had the biggest struggles. Looked like he might have taken his eye off of that one. And keeps the inning alive, and 19 pitches into this inning already now for Casey Mize.
Bounce to 3rd. Fair ball. Urshela had the throwing error earlier. They say that Canha does apply the tag. Good effort by d'Arnaud. And the Braves don't think that they'll take a peek. They will not.
Welcome back to Truist Park, where Spencer Schwellenbach continues his start on the mound for the Braves here tonight. And he said something he started doing prior to his last start was some pre-scouting. A few days prior to his start to create a game plan, he said Sean Murphy came into the clubhouse on game day and they kind of went over their notes, compared, and it was similar. He said it provided some confidence, and he said part of that game plan is going for outs instead of strikeouts at this level, which has alleviated some of the pressure.
That's something we heard Max Fried talk about, CJ, a veteran, 8 years earlier this year, too. So that's something these guys are always discussing.
Without a doubt. It's not that you're not trying to strike guys out, right? You're trying to put up zeros any way that you can, but not thinking about those strikeouts too early, not picking at the corners and trying to get swings and misses or called strikes. You're pitching to get outs, weak contact. He was great at it in his last start, and so far here this evening, looking pretty good.
This is weak off the bat of Green. Right back to Schwellenbach, 1 away.
I think once that you have proven to yourself that your stuff plays at this level, that you can attack, and he really has the entire time that he has been here, but you can get weak contact with your pitches inside the strike zone. It is a big hurdle for a lot of young pitchers that they have to cross, and I think he's there, and you can see the confidence in the way he's handling himself tonight.
Boy, Mark Canha is a magnet for the baseball. Since 2019, he has now been hit 109 times. That is by far the most in baseball in that span.
And it's not as if this was a pitch that he leaned into, right? I mean, this one is coming right at him and into that hip. And you're right, big, strong guy, and he's used to it, but it doesn't mean that it feels good.
So he and Sal Fasano could have a conversation then, right? One out, Canha at first. Here's Urshela. But Canha led the majors in 21 and 22 in hit by pitches. And that's the 9th time he's been hit here in the 24 season. The all-time leader in Major League history, Craig Biggio, got hit 285 times in his career.
I saw a few of those when we were teammates in 1998. He liked getting hit. He wore a lot of protective gear. He'd throw his elbow out there. I saw him throw his leg out there one time, back foot, trying to get hit by a pitch. Whatever it took to get on base.
And you didn't have as many cameras back then, so
no. Nope.
A little easier to get away with it.
And that's something you never see called really at all, right? The hitters are supposed to make some kind of attempt to get out of the way, but that's a tough one to pick up for umpires.
The other way, Olson tried to reach around and get the double play, but Canha was able to escape him.
Now that would have been an amazing way to end this inning, and don't be fooled by what it sounded like. The ball was not hit very hard at all, just 66 miles an hour off the bat. But how about Matt Olson first making sure that you catch it, but just missing Mark Canha, his former teammate with the Oakland A's.
Did you see Canha's face when he got out of the way? That was something. Did that hit him? Yes. Colt Keith just got hit by a pitch on the back foot. So Schwellenbach hits Canha, and now Keith.
He's certainly frustrated because this one looked like an overthrow on the cutter, just took off on him and catches Keith right there in the shin. It also got Travis. Did that get him on the bare hand?
I didn't see it, but Travis seems to be fine, thankfully. Well, first time tonight that Detroit has had 2 base runners, and now the batter is Justin Henry Malloy.
Now, the thing about it, obviously he's not trying to hit anybody, but both of those hit by pitches were on the first pitch of the at bat, so it's not as if he's using extra pitches. And if he can get out of this thing, it'd be a thing of beauty, quite honestly, because he's done a really great job with the pitch count so far tonight.
Got Malloy 0-2. He checks, kicks, and deals. Good stop by d'Arnaud.
So I mentioned the 4 strikeouts in 4 different pitches. We have not seen a cutter strikeout yet. It's been the curveball, the split, the slider, and the 4-seam fastball. And why not go ahead and just use every single pitch to try to get a strikeout here tonight?
He's got what he wants. Got a piece. There's a slider there. Still 1-2. Oh, gosh, Travis, you don't deserve that.
He doesn't. Now, the hit by pitch did not get him in the bare hand. It caught him in the chest protector, but he felt that one.
Yeah. His 3rd kid's on the way, so he's probably done after that anyway. 1-2. High and outside.
Maybe not by choice.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Schwellenbach fires in, and this one is hit out toward left. Wall is there. He's got it. 2 runners stranded. Still 2-0 Atlanta. Duvall will lead it off. Let's take a look at the strong arm, brought to you by John Foy and Associates.
Yeah, taking a look at the Atlanta Braves in interleague over the last 3 seasons, crushing it with a win percentage better than .600, the run differential and the home run differential, some of the best in Major League Baseball. We got, of course, the Tigers tomorrow and then the New York Yankees over the weekend.
Line drive, base hit. Adam Duvall on the first pitch he sees in the home half of the 4th inning.
Well, good to see he has some energy left after, what was that, a 13-pitch at bat, and he was running quite a bit over at second base. We mentioned the idea of him right on right. Hasn't been great for him this year, but Casey Mize has not been good against righties, and we've seen a couple of good swings here from Adam Duvall against Casey Mize. Maybe again, that's kind of what gets him going the rest of the way here against right-handed pitching.
And he's reached both times tonight. Mize now at 75 pitches. Forrest Wall had that bunt single last time, so Urshela on that first pitch a little closer to home plate.
And it buys you some real estate if you get a pitch that's away, right, with him playing now more shallow to try to poke something through that left side, especially where the shortstop McKinstry's playing.
Yeah, there's a huge hole over there. Look out, Braves dugout again. 1-2. Talking with Forrest yesterday about his offseason improvements at the plate. Braves sent a hitting instructor down to his area in Florida this winter to work with him on some things. He said he feels so much better and so much more confident at the plate this year with those adjustments. And it showed at the AAA level and now here at the major league level.
The numbers were there for him. 287 with an on base nearly 400. We talked about it last night, of course, running really well, and that was good to see. And he's done a good job here so far. Limited opportunities. Huge hit for him last night, which no doubt is a big confidence booster.
Little late there. 96 up top from Mize for the first out.
So it looks like a little bit of action, or at least the guy starting to stretch down in that Detroit Tigers bullpen. And for Casey Mize, pitch wise, you see the overall pitch count at 80. He's been a lot higher than that, up to 97 pitches so far this season. But all pitch counts are not created equal. And the guy starts scrambling. That means the phone is ringing down there.
I think everybody is up and stretching right now in that Tigers bullpen. Looked like they got the Army up down there.
Yep, nobody getting up just yet. But the reason we talk about it is because we take a look at the pitch by inning, and what we saw from him in that second inning was a difficult one, right? It really hasn't been any inning that has gone smoothly here for Casey Mize. 31 in the second, and he was laboring. We saw the great at bat from Ozzie, of course, that made that happen, but it hasn't been something that has gone that well for him this season. Better than 17 pitches per inning on average for Casey Mize. Just kind of looking for that knockout punch right now to open this game up a little bit.
Orlando flew out back in the second. Inside. Well, they're certainly still hopeful that Mize can live up to the billing when he was taken #1 overall. I mentioned before the injury, he had a really good 21 season. But then Tommy John, and now trying to get back on track, earned a spot in the rotation this spring. But still just 27 years old.
If he gets through this season healthy, you can almost guarantee that next year will be a better year. Guys that go through the Tommy John surgery tell you all the time, that first year you're feeling things out, really kind of trying to get back to where you were. It takes longer than most people want. We think about how long it takes you to get healthy. How long it really takes you to get back to where you were, that takes a lot longer. When you're watching Walker Buehler, who's pitching tonight for the Dodgers, it was his second Tommy John surgery. He hasn't looked right yet. He missed a pretty significant amount of time. And he's used to the rehab. He's already done it once.
And they've got a lot invested in Mize. When they signed him #1 overall, it was a $7.5 million bonus. Hit hard, but directly to McKinstry, and he starts a 6-4-3 double play. So a leadoff single by Duvall, but nothing to show for it. A-list member tonight is Dorian Conger Marietta. Dorian has been an A-list member since '05. Favorite perk, priority access to postseason tickets. So congratulations to Dorian and friends. Today's A-list member of the game. Bottom of the fourth. Another nice night in Atlanta. Or how about the top of the fifth instead? That would make more sense. Another nice night in Atlanta. Mother Nature has been pretty kind during this home. It's a little hot over the weekend, but all in all, dry.
And a couple of innings into it, it does feel really nice here at the ballpark. We're seeing the guys sweat a pretty good amount. They're feeling it down there, I think. But
yeah, we saw Mize sweating quite a bit. Schwellenbach fielding his position cleanly, and McKinstry is retired. And another great crowd here at Truist Park. Bottom of the order in Carson Kelly. Well, CJ, we've discussed a lot the 5th and 6th spots in the rotation, which as of late have been Schwellenbach and Waldrop. But if Schwellenbach can pitch like he did last game and now so far this game, might hang around a little while.
He's doing a really nice job. He is adjusting. We watched those first couple. I was a little bit concerned. He was throwing strikes, but the command I didn't think was necessarily where it needed to be. You don't never want to overanalyze a rookie when he is first getting to the big leagues, but he has settled in really nicely, and he's building off of what we saw in that last start. And that is really encouraging, certainly for Rick Kranitz, as he is watching him and thinking about, have we found a guy that could be number 5 going forward? I mean, there's always going to be ups and downs with young pitchers, but based on what we have seen here tonight, what we saw in his last start, there are a lot of reasons to be encouraged about the possibility of him holding this thing down.
He has been in command. Just giving up 1 hit. He did hit a couple of batters last inning, but he worked around it. Got Kelly 1-2. And the count evens up.
And quality misses right outside of the couple of hit by pitches that we have seen, like that pitch right there in the 1-2 count and trying to get a swing and miss. Even that part of it, the pitches that have been outside of the zone have been quality as guys are nearly offering at them.
That was close. And remember, this is a guy who got called up straight from Double-A and only made 2 starts at the Double-A level.
That was close, just missed.
They missed again, and a 1-out walk for the catcher Kelly. Quick message here from Austin Riley and Coors Light.
Hey Braves fans, Austin Riley here, reminding you to check in to chill with Coors Light. Scan the QR code on the screen to win 2 tickets to Braves games at the Coors Light Chop House and a 1-night hotel stay.
Thank you, Austin. Vierling in the top of the order.
So we showed you that replay with that pitch that just missed the strike zone in the graphic. I don't know if you saw it today, but Major League Baseball announcing that in AAA here they're going to start using the ABS system with the challenge system, which is something that they are testing out. We're still a little bit of a ways away before we get it here at the big league level, but they want to see how the challenge system will play out in the minor leagues. Always the testing ground.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I have mixed thoughts on it, as I did when replay started to come into the mix years ago. I'll say this. Major League Baseball, I think that they handled the rule changes last year perfectly, how they implemented them down there, brought them up, everything worked beautifully. So I'm willing to wait and listen and see what the data says.
I'm with you. I think once the technology gets all the way there and we can have confidence in it, I think the challenge system is going to be at this level, but it will still be a while.
Right there at the knees. You don't want to challenge that one if you're Detroit. Certainly a strike, and Vierling is down looking.
That's a really good bounce back for Schwellenbach. Check out this pitch here, right at the knees, a little giddy up on it at 94 miles an hour. And that one was every bit a strike.
So 5 strikeouts, matching his young career high for Spencer Schwellenbach. Right to Matt Olson on 1 easy bounce. Schwellenbach cruising through 5. We are halfway home. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by the All South Highway Safety Team. Play it safe, slow down. Buy Rooms to Go, July 4th hot buys going on now. And by Synovus, the bank that helps you get there. The 2 runs in this game came in the bottom of the first by the Atlanta Braves, and we are still at 2-0 as we head to the home half of the 5th. Casey Mize, the starter, is done. 4 innings for him, and now they turn it over to the 3rd-year man, Beau Brieske.
It's been a pretty good year for him. You can see his 13 strikeouts in 16 innings. 4-seam fastball that sits at 96 to go along with a changeup, 2-seam fastball, and a slider.
Slider there, 0-1 as he pitches to Kelenic at the top of the order. Swinging bunt, and Brieske throws to first. Well, for Casey Mize, probably not the start he had envisioned, coming back close to his hometown and pitching in front of 50 friends and family, but he did battle back after giving up the single, triple, and single to start the game.
87 pitches over the 4 innings for him. Did throw 70% strikes. That's a really good number. Got more swing and miss than we anticipated. I mentioned he hasn't been strong in that category. He only had 4 swings and misses his last 2 starts combined. Tonight he had 11. So a little bit better there for Casey Mize, and battled some really tough at bats from the Rays tonight.
Yeah, speaking of the tough at bats, Ozzie gave him the toughest at bat. 13 pitches it was back in the second inning between he and Mize, with 7 straight foul balls before Ozzie flew out to center.
You know, Mize only has 1 win this season, just the way we talked about Reese Olson and some of the struggles there. Obviously not in line to get a win tonight. The 1 win he had came in late April, kind of all the way back to April 21st. It was the last time he recorded a W.
Ozzie continues his foul ball party tonight. And well, Detroit just has not given their starters a lot of run support. That's kind of been the story of their season, and one of the reasons they're 4 games below 500 right now. Which, again, as I said yesterday, is actually a better spot than they were in at this point last year. But because their division record-wise is a little better, they're over 11 games out. Ozzie hit it out to center last time. He does it again here in the 5th. 2 outs. Xfinity Live Look Cam all dressed up for game 2 of this series. RBI single in the 1st, ground out in the 3rd for Ozuna. Third year in the majors, all with Detroit for number 4 Beau Brieske. 26-year-old right-hander. Got underneath it. Sounded good. Vierling sets up camp, and a 1-2-3 inning for Brieske.
Now the rookie Spencer Schwellenbach is turning in a gem here so far this evening against the Tigers. 5 innings into this thing, 5 strikeouts for Spencer. No runs allowed. He's been in the strike zone all night. 15 swings and misses, which ties his season high here in his 4th career start. He did hit a couple of batters, and that was very limited trouble that he has been in. But when he's been in it, he has gotten himself out of it.
And back to work in the 6th. First pitch, Riley Green hits well to right center. Going over there, Kelenic will not get to it. Green is going to turn and head for 3rd, and he will be in there easily. So a leadoff triple for Riley Green in the 6th.
Not something that you see very often, and that is the hang time on this ball, but it was just hit in a perfect spot. It's a 91-mile-an-hour cutter, but splitting the center fielder and right fielder there, Adam Duvall and Jarred Kelenic, just about perfectly, and Kelenic going as hard as he can. So as soon as he ran past that a little bit, Riley Green picked up on it and was set for 3rd base.
3rd triple of the year for Detroit's most dangerous hitter, Riley Green. And now Mark Canha.
Take this for what it's worth, and it's very early in his career, but for Spencer Schwellenbach, there's been a little bit of struggle 3rd time through the order, which is where we are right now. No doubt something that Snit is keeping a close eye on.
This will get into the seats.
It's only been now 16 batters that he has faced 3rd time through, but 6'4", 16. That's a .375 batting average, including that triple that we just saw.
He struck out Canha in the 1st. He hit him in the 4th inning. He's got him 0-2 and misses away. Spencer Schwellenbach occupying Spencer Strider's spot in the rotation. Of course, Strider down with the injury for the season. Braves trying to find somebody to fulfill this role. Schwellenbach with a 2-0 lead in the 6th, but the Tigers threatening. Grounder to third. That's foul.
And the big one here, managing this situation. You get the leadoff triple as we take a look at Spencer Strider. Certainly missed in this rotation. Look forward to him getting healthy and seeing that right arm in the rotation again next year. But for Spencer Schwellenbach right now, runner at third, infield's back. Highly likely he is going to score. And so the way that you look at this is making sure that you're trying to keep that potential tying run off base and don't let this turn into any kind of big inning.
2-2. Got him. Cutter down and away. Canha swings through it. 6 strikeouts for Schwellenbach, a young career high for the right-hander.
And now we get the strikeout on the cutter. Mentioned the first 4 strikeouts, 4 different pitches. He doubled up on fastball strikeouts, and now here comes the cutter. That is a really good sign when I was talking about third time through the order, as deep as his repertoire runs, and the fact that he's got strikeouts on 5 different pitches tonight. That is good to see.
Yeah, great sign. And now 1 away, and here's Gio Urshela, who's 0 for 2. Grounder through the left side, and Detroit is on the board here in the 6th inning. It's 2-1.
That's still a pretty good pitch. It's the slider from Spencer Schwellenbach, and check out the location. They wanted the ball down. He got it down, maybe a little bit over the plate more than they wanted, and it's a ground ball base hit. It is harmless. That's a good pitch from Schwellenbach in that spot.
So the lead cut in half. Schwellenbach now at 83 pitches as he deals a strike to Colt Keith. Pierce Johnson is up and starting to loosen for Atlanta.
In his first 3 starts, we saw Spencer in the 80s every single time as far as pitch count. 88, 85, 89 in his last one. That seems probably like a comfort spot right now for Brian Snitker and for Craney. But you know, 84 is still looking pretty good. You'd love to see him find a way to get through this inning.
His 0-2. Well, that's exactly where Travis d'Arnaud wanted that pitch, but Keith didn't go after it. Both of these guys rookies. Bounce to Matt Olson. He'll spin and fire to second for 1. Schwellenbach did all he could. So did Orlando Arcia, but safe at first. 2 away.
Yeah, not a lot you can do here because of the high hop. Matt Olson played it perfectly, gave Orlando a really strong feed. Just not enough time to get Keith, who of course is coming out of that batter's box. What is Urshela doing there running? Do you see how far he went into the infield there?
I'm not sure he knows what he was doing there. But now he's back in the dugout.
I don't know if he's intentionally trying to listen. He sees where Matt Olson is. He's trying to interfere with the throw, and you can create your own baseline. And your baseline is created once you try to avoid a tag, and it's perfectly legal to do that. It's just kind of annoying,
yes,
quite honestly.
And I think that's probably what they're laughing about over there is where were you going? Now Justin Henry Malloy wearing number 44. He wore number 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson growing up. He also wore 42 in college at Vanderbilt and then at Georgia Tech. But he wanted 44 because his dad Henry was named after the great Hank Aaron. And so he was able to get that number with the Tigers, and he wears that with great pride. As he should. Of course, Braves guys cannot wear that number 44. That is sacred. 0-2 pitch to him. And that one is right down the chute. Malloy caught looking. That'll send us to the bottom of the 6th. Well, if that's the last pitch that Spencer throws tonight, he did it with a little flair of frozen pizza.
innings for him, just the 1 run. Did a good job after a leadoff triple. Don't let that inning get away from you. And he finished strong with his 7th strikeout on a pretty good 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Now Beau Brieske back to work, pitching to Olson. Olson showed bunt there.
I've been wondering about that for him. It had been a few years since we have seen a bunt hit, but he is getting these shifts against him. He had 5 in 1 season when he was with the Oakland A's, and that's, of course, when we saw the real extreme shifts. Why not bust it out once in a while?
Try to keep him honest. Takes that low 1-1. Caught the outside corner, did the slider there, 1-2. So the Saginaw, Michigan native, Spencer Schwellenbach, against the team from Michigan. Nice 6 innings tonight. Now can the Braves get a little breathing room here in the home half of the 6th as we take a look at our Blue Moon bright spot? Well, since Ronald Acuna went down with that injury, Matt Olson has really stepped up.
And that's kind of what you look for, right? I mean, obviously you lose a big piece. Can the other guys maybe chip in a little bit more? We have seen that from Matt Olson over those 21 games.
And if you put it together for all of June, he's hitting .350 after hitting .202 in April and .270 in May. So the season getting better by the month for the Braves cleanup hitter.
He did not forget how to hit. I know there was probably some worry there for a little while, but right back on track is Matt Olson.
Yeah, he's too good.
I was a little bit worried when I saw the slow start because I was fortunate to spend some time with him in spring training during a round of batting practice. I'm like, he's never going to let me do that again if this thing doesn't get turned around.
Fear not. Everything is okay. Gets underneath this, hits it on the infield. Well, McKinstry fooled him a little bit, but he tracks it down. A word now from Zaxby's.
Feast, 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 feast. The Mr. Beast box, only at Zaxby's.
A line out for Riley in the first. He reached on an error by the second baseman Keith in the third. Yesterday we talked about Austin Riley, how emotional it was Sunday. His hitting instructor Mike Brumley, who used to be a hitting instructor with the Braves, passing away and in a car accident. That really shook Austin Riley, but he did have the homer Sunday, had 2 doubles yesterday, but certainly that is still front of mind for Riley and will be for a while. He was very, very close to Mike Brumley, so still playing with a heavy heart out there.
It certainly can't be easy, as he's talked about the influence that Mike had over his life, both as a player and as a person. We know what a great person Austin Riley is. And this one certainly runs deep.
He had just seen Mike in Baltimore. They were working on some swing changes in that series up there. Swing and a miss here. Change up from Brieske gets him, and there are 2 away. Well, Beau Brieske out of the pen has retired the first 5 that he has faced.
He looks sharp. He's kind of been this multi-inning reliever for the Detroit Tigers. Hasn't been here all year. Former starter a couple of years ago and putting up respectable numbers, but they just kind of had a influx of young starters here with the Tigers, and he was a guy that kind of got bumped out of the rotation, and he's been good in the relief role.
Reese Olson had a good start last night, but Atlanta was able to get the 2-1 victory. Now here we are 2-1 again tonight as d'Arnaud hacks that back to the net.
15 starts for him back in 2022. That was his rookie year. 4.19 ERA. Excellent walk rate at 2.8 per 9. League average hits around 3.4 or so. Home runs were a little bit of an issue, but he threw the ball pretty well, kind of back end of the rotation kind of stuff. But he's only made 1 start since then. And this being his 10th appearance this season coming out of the bullpen, 7 of those have been multi-inning appearances.
And he's got a 2-inning appearance here as long as this is caught by Keith. So 6 up, 6 down for Brieske. Still 2-1.
By Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. By Xfinity. Stream Braves baseball with Xfinity because it's only live once. And by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing.
Spencer Schwellenbach hoping to get his first big league win and his 4th big league start here. 2-1. His night is done. We'll tell you about the reliever in a moment. But today, Kaiser Permanente, talented doctors across the Atlanta area. And it looks like we have some future cardiologists in the crowd with us today. And now those future cardiologists are going to watch Pierce Johnson come out of the bullpen.
Yeah, the Braves have it set up the way they want right now, and how rested this bullpen is. We didn't see Iglesias yesterday, and so Pierce Johnson first up here in the 7th inning to keep this thing at 2-1.
He's got 8-9-1 here, starting with McKinstry.
It's been a really good season for him so far. 31 strikeouts in those 23 in the 3rd innings. Of course, he's done it with heavy curveball usage. Does have a 4-seam fastball in there to go with a cutter as well.
There is that 4-seamer, a ball and a strike.
Jimenez would be good to throw back-to-back, even though he closed the game out yesterday because Iglesias had gotten the day off. He had been pretty busy. If it works out, you can go Johnson, Jimenez, and Iglesias to finish this thing out. But tight game, not an easy thing to do.
A ball and 2 strikes to McKinstry. Atlanta has won 4 of 5, trying to make it 5 of 6. Pierce Johnson with a 1-2. Count evens up.
So you're Colt Keith, or excuse me, you're McKinstry here, and you're facing Pierce Johnson. You've done your homework, and you're told, hey, heads up, 80% curveballs. He's got 1 curveball and 3 heaters so far in this at bat.
See what he goes to here. He did go to the curveball, 3-2.
And Pierce does not change what he does, whether it's lefties or righties that are hitting against him. That 80% holds true for both.
Well, that one is going to sit him down. Well located. McKinstry did not offer at it, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, the best of the group, and he saves it for the 3-2 count. Perfectly located there in the middle of the strike zone with that late tight break that you get with Pierce Johnson and that curveball that spins better than 3,000 RPMs. That one was over 3,100.
And it fooled McKinstry, and now you go to the bottom of the order here in Carson Kelly. Same thing, 0-1. Folks, stay tuned for the stretch presented by Synovus coming up here shortly after the top of the 7th. Now an 0-2 count here on Kelly, and he'll call time. There's Johnson looking for back-to-back strikeouts. But Kelly will stay alive with a foul ball. Carson Kelly was drafted originally as a 3rd baseman by the Cardinals way back in 2012 in the 2nd round. He was pretty highly touted. Transitioned to catcher before the 2014 season. Debuted with the Cardinals in 2016, and now here he is 8 years later still in the bigs now with the Tigers. Oh, that looked pretty good.
Now, Pierce Johnson wanted it, and that's because Travis d'Arnaud did a really good job making this pitch look like a strike. It was probably just off. And that subtle movement that you get there from Travis. Yeah, caught the corner. You would have used your challenge there, Brandon.
Right there. That one in the zone, fouled back. Overcooks that. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Kelly. Then after him back to the top of the order to Vierling. Braves got their 2 runs within the first 3 batters in the bottom of the first. Haven't scored since. Detroit got a single run in the 6th off Schwellenbach. He's out of the game, and now Pierce Johnson on in relief. Shallow right. Duvall coming in. He will take it.
We did see Dylan Lee getting up in that Braves bullpen. My guess is if anybody were to get on, if Pierce Johnson gets himself in any trouble, you got the switch hitter due up second, and then Riley Green, the lefty, and probably the focus on Riley Green for Dylan Lee.
What do you think this is like for Spencer Schwellenbach? Hoping you get your first big league win. You know you pitch great, but now you're like the guy who goes into the clubhouse with a lead and you just sit and watch the other golfers. Is that what this is like for Schwellenbach?
No doubt he may be in the dugout for it, but it is tough to watch when you get a real tight one.
It's going to be a soft little looping single for Vierling with 2 outs.
I can tell you I was in that exact same situation, waiting for my first win, and through 7 shutout innings, we were winning 1-0. Curt Schilling threw a bunt away. That's the only way that the Reds scored a run that night, and I had to watch the last couple of innings. And Jeff Brantley closed it out, and it got close. It got a little hairy. And listen, the wins, I get it. They don't matter as much, but you want that first big league win, and you feel like he is in line, obviously, to get it and has pitched well enough. And yeah, you get a little bit nervous, but you got to be careful not to show it either, because then it becomes about you. And you don't want your teammates thinking that, of course, at all. But we're all pulling hard for him to get that win tonight.
Well, he deserves it. And it's good to see Schwellenbach back-to-back really solid starts for him. Perez is the hitter here. He's 0 for 3. Quite a few young guys in this Detroit order, and this is another one of them. 24-year-old rookie here. Fires a fastball, does Johnson. 1-2. Put him away here, Pierce. 2 down, 1-2 pitch coming. Well, first he'll check over to Vierling. This guy Perez kind of been an overachieving rookie. Got called up in April to provide depth due to some early season injuries, and he's hit so well, or at least well enough, that they've kept him around. But he's down 1-2 here, and there's the second disengagement.
Interesting there that they felt like they wanted to get 2 of those in and keep Matt Vierling close. Obviously now can't throw over unless you pick him off, otherwise he'll be awarded second base.
He does go, and that ball is fouled off. This hitter Perez did break up a no-hitter on Sunday when Detroit was in Houston. The Astros had a combined no-hitter with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and then he singled. But 0 for 3 tonight. Runner goes again, reaches for this, slaps it out to Kelenic. Kelenic has it, and it is still 2-1 as we head to the stretch.
The Stretch is brought to you by Synovus, the bank that helps you reach for your big league dreams. Get there with Synovus. Welcome into The Stretch presented by Synovus. Nick Green, Trevor Scales outside kicking it on the battery here with you. Pre-game, you asked for a Schwellenbach-to-Bach performance, and we got a repeat of sorts from young Spencer. 6 innings, pretty low run count, and 89 pitches of efficiency from the young fella.
He's been great, and that's what you want to see with these young kids. Can they back up a good start with another good start? He's been able to do that today. I thought he did a great job just pitching backwards and using that cutter and slider to his advantage. by using cutter and slider early, using the fastball later. Had guys frozen on the fastball as well. Didn't use that a whole lot, but just super effective on the glove side. Did not throw much to the arm side, and he didn't need to, honestly. Had guys off balance all day long. 7 punchies for Spencer Schwellenbach. A fantastic start for him. I mentioned in the pregame show, this offense was not like the Baltimore offense, but he comes out and does dynamite work again today.
And the next step is to find something that gets back to that arm side, but that's in due time. For now, let's get to some more Braves baseball after a quick word from our friends over at Synovus.
Will I have the money to send my kid to college?
Order for Synovus? Are you Synovus?
Yes. I do have a few questions.
A solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Let's talk about your potential today.
Welcome back to Truist Park, where Forrest Wall is due up second to bat here. And with that, we take a look at our T-Mobile coverage cam, and it happens to be his bat. Earlier today in the clubhouse, I was standing in his locker with Marcelo Ozuna, walked over, handed him a bat. That happened to be a brand new bat, one of his, with his name on it. He wanted to have some nice wood for Forrest Wall to hit with, so Forrest Wall said he was going to test it out. He liked the colors of it, tested out in the cage, apparently liked it enough. I noticed after he reached base following his bunt, the two immediately turned to one another with the all hands together, guys.
Oh, you love that.
I mean, you got to use it, right? If Marcelo Ozuna, who's having this monster season, gives you a bat, what are you going to say, thanks but no thanks? As a rookie, no, you got to use that bat, and good to see that it's worked out well for Forrest Wall.
Forrest Wall in the on-deck circle as Adam Duvall waits. Brisky is still out there. You talked about him, and he's able to go multiple innings. Well, he was so good through the 5th and the 6th that he'll get another opportunity here in the 7th.
He's thrown 3 innings once before. He's also got 2 1/3 and 2 2/3 under his belt. And in all those extending outings, those 3 in particular, he'd not allowed a run. So anytime he has gone more than 2 innings, it's been really solid for Beau Brisky.
I just hear Brisket when I say his name or hear his name.
I feel like if I gave you a list of every major leaguer, what's that, 1,200 on all the 40-man rosters, and I said, hey, who do you want to go have a beer with? And you didn't know anything about the guys, but that's the name you heard.
Yeah.
Feels like a kind of a good drinking name, good buddy to take to a bar. It's going to end in a good time.
And I like Brisket,
yeah.
So it all works. Same thing when I hear Jacoby Brissett, the quarterback in the NFL. I just think Brisket.
Now, will you cook your own brisket?
CJ, I can't make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. 2-2. Duvall reaches or lifts this down the right field side, and that will get into the seats.
You don't have the 12 to 14 hours to cook the brisket in the smoker. It takes a little while. I will tell you, I tried to take a shortcut recently, and I went oven brisket.
And?
Trash.
Yeah.
Didn't come out good at all. I tried to cheat with the liquid smoke in the water to give it the feel and the smell and the taste
rookie
of.
mistake. Yeah,
it wasn't a good tight brisket, rough. I mean, I'm still eating it. It's still in the fridge. Me and my dog Macy Jane, we love it, but it takes some work to get through it.
Now, do you eat your dog's Alpo? Do you guys share that?
No,
too?
no. I only. That's why she loves me the most, because she knows that there's a pretty good chance I'm going to give her something.
Now, you're a man of the grill. I know you're very talented. When it comes to me, I have this thing called Uber Eats on my phone, and it saves me in a lot of tight situations. That one fooled Duvall a little bit. Change up, they're in on the hands, and there's one away.
Yeah, pretty good one here. You mentioned the location. That ball starts inner third. Looks like it's going to be a strike. You got to protect, of course, with 2 strikes, but good run on it, and Adam Duvall can come up empty.
Well, they're going to bring in Chafin out of the pen here with Wall coming to the plate. Kenny Powers, number 2. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. By the Georgia Lottery, today could be the day. And by Yellowwood, if it does.
Baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. By the Georgia Lottery, today could be the day. And by Yellowwood, if it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. Back at Truist Park, 2-1 Braves here in the home half of the 7th. Well, the MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit here to Truist. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem offers, exclusive content can be accessed, and so much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Brandon and CJ upstairs, Hannah downstairs, and now in the center of the diamond, it's the veteran Andrew Chafin.
And you can see that ERA a little bit high for Chafin so far this year. He leads with his slider. It sits around 82 miles an hour. He throws both the 4-seam fastball and the 2-seam fastball. They're about 92 miles an hour. And when you think about this matchup right here, you can see why Ryan Snitker would go to the pinch hitter in Laureano. 211 is the batting average against lefties for Chafin. The righties, they're hitting .321 with an .819 OPS.
So Laureano will get the opportunity here. One of the new Braves. First at bat of the series, and he takes a slider at the knees from Chafin, who just celebrated his 34th birthday yesterday.
I do feel like Ramon Laureano should be using that Marcell Ozuna bat. It's kind of for the 8th spot tonight.
Yeah. Ooh. Boy, he almost hit Laureano, did Orlando Arcia there in the on-deck circle, but thankfully he avoided it.
14 plate appearances in his career as a pinch hitter. He's 1 for 13. In his career, to clarify, he did have 9 pinch hit plate appearances last year. So bulk of what we're talking about. Of course, he had been a starter through most of his career with the Oakland A's.
Braves bringing him up from Gwinnett, sent JP Martinez down. That was after Michael Harris was shelved with a hamstring injury. Swing and a miss. So Laureano down on strikes. 2 outs here in the 7th.
No, this was the slider. Looked like they were actually trying to go inner third. It ends up being off the plate and down, and Laureano chasing that pitch.
Veteran lefty, been around 11 seasons at the major league level. Has that kind of hitch as he goes into the delivery that's a little awkward for the hitters.
Yeah, he is definitely a unique guy. It's not just the hair, although that is second place here in this ballpark tonight for guys in big league uniforms.
Grant Holmes.
He's got it. I mean, he is the winner probably across all 15 ballparks for the games that are being played tonight. But Chafin has been good over the course of his career. He's also been a fun guy, big personality guy over the years, and typical lefty, quite honestly.
You know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have to give Grant Holmes the nod, though, if you're going with the best hair. Oh, there's Mom Sherilyn for Grant, getting a picture with blooper with Grant's kind of faux head of hair there. Well, the other guy with the hair, Andrew Chafin, is able to strike out the side. He gets Duvall, Laureano, and Arcia in order. Tonight's Xfinity game break. Padres, Phillies in the city of brotherly love. Campusano deep to center field, 2-run shot. This would put San Diego on top, and they are still on top after 8 innings, 3-2, as they try to even that series against the Phillies.
I think the Philadelphia Phillies are happy to be home after that London trip. Right, they've been on the road since June 6th, and this is their first home series since.
Meanwhile, Laureano out in right, out in left now is Duvall, and Duvall will run after that one, but not have a play. And it's Joe Jimenez who got his first save as a Brave last night, and here he is again tonight.
Yeah, terrific against his former team. Good strikeouts this year from Joe Jimenez. He has done it with his slider, 4-seam fastball. It sits at 94. Changeup in there as well, but the bulk of the strikeouts, 20 of the 30 on the slider.
Yeah, but the Braves 8 games back of the Phils. It was 10 games. Have a chance possibly tonight to get it to 7. Swing and a miss. Good start for Joe Jimenez. Takes care of Riley Green.
Yeah, right on time with that slider and going after the Detroit Tigers' best hitter and not wasting any time against him. Making now 21 of the 31 strikeouts on the Joe Jimenez slider.
Zaxby's saucy play tonight is that the Braves are 30-2 when leading after 7 innings. Trying to tick that up to 31-2. Joe Jimenez doing his part.
Ooh. You would have thrown your challenge flag.
Yep. Come on, Tony Randazzo.
The flag would be fun. You like the idea of Stint having like a
just like in the NFL,
yeah,
just
chuck it.
I do. I love that idea now that you say it. And the thought of the manager seeing how far they can throw it.
You're allowed to hit the umpire with it.
Oh,
to get his attention.
I'm sold. I'm in.
It's rapid, like maybe in a golf ball, so you can get some good carry on it.
Weak swing there, 2-2. Three balls and 2 strikes. Craig Counsell would probably still have a pretty good arm.
I would think so.
I think which manager would just chuck it out there.
Yeah, we've kind of gone through this phase where we had some young managers now getting a little bit older. I think Aaron Boone probably still has something left in the arm.
Left side, Arcia. Oh, man, that would have been sensational. Olsen, though, taken off the bag, and Canha will reach. That's a single all the way.
Everything would have had to have been absolutely perfect, and it was close. It is so fun watching Orlando play shortstop as he has the quick exchange, but the throw up the line. That would have been amazing. And you can see the expectations that he puts on himself to make those great plays. You love that part of Orlando and the pride that he takes in his defense and wanting to be the best out there.
Yeah, most guys are saying, well, I gave it my best right there. He expects to make that play. Now Urshela takes a strike on the corner. Yeah, Gretchen Caney had a good one. Derek Shelton would probably be good at throwing that.
Yeah, maybe.
So Joe Jimenez, the former Detroit Tiger All-Star, 6 seasons with Detroit. And now 2nd year in Atlanta here. He's been great out of that bullpen for the Braves. Trying to keep this a 2-1 ball game in the 8th. Lifted out towards right. Laureano drifting back, and he will take it. Let's get a word in here from our good friends at Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
The rookie Colt Keith with 2 outs and 1 on.
This will be an interesting one. He has struggled mightily against right-handed sliders so far this year, hitting just .080 against them. We know that Joe has a really good one, missing with the fastball there, but got to believe he'll attack him. He actually has hit the fastball well. I know it's been a kind of an up and down year for this rookie, but against the 4-seamer, 364. I mean, it might have been a little show me heater from Joe Jimenez, and now a steady diet of sliders. Oh, he does it again.
Now toward left, Duvall over, loses the hat, but has the baseball. Showing that beautiful quaff. That'll send us to the 9th inning. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. By Georgia Power. Score big savings at georgiapower.com/tips. And by Alpha Insurance. Well, on we go to the bottom of the 8th, 2-1. Atlanta leading it. Our game nugget brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Well, percentage of home runs. Look at this. In the month of June, things heating up a little bit.
Yeah, and you think about, getting those runs, of course, what we saw last year with the Atlanta Braves and all of those home runs, better than 300 of them and tying the modern day record. But it has been solid here in the month of June. 41% overall this year. The runs have come via the homer.
First pitch at the bottom of the 8th. Chafin's still out there relieving, and he gets Kelenic. Last year, though, with all the historic marks offensively that the Braves had, they only went 18 games without a homer. Well, this year's been a little bit different, but the homers are starting to come. None tonight, but still a 2-1 lead as A.J. Hinch is going to go back into his bullpen. Just a couple of hours ago that the Say Hey Kid, the great Willie Mays, passed away earlier today at the age of 93. 24-time All-Star, 12-time Gold Glover, Hall of Famer, inducted back in '79, one of the greatest to ever do it. And he has now left us at 93 years of age. Sad moment, certainly, and one that will be mourned across baseball, certainly within the Giants community, but lived at 93, a great life, and boy, did he add a lot to this game.
He certainly did. I do think you could make the argument, because we love to argue and talk about these kinds of things, that he was the greatest player ever to play the game. Of course, a lot of times Babe Ruth leads that conversation, but it is fun to dig in and look at the history and the great career of Willie Mays. And I agree with you, 93 years old. What a life for a baseball icon. We were fortunate to share a little bit of time with him, and yeah, it's a sad time certainly for the Giants and everybody around Major League Baseball.
They do say he passed away peacefully. That's the good news, but certainly baseball will be honoring here over the next couple of days the great life of Willie Mays. Ozzie Albies flies out, 2 away. Well, Vest is the new pitcher here to try to keep this at 2-1 before we head to the 9th inning, and Ozuna fouls that off.
And low strikeouts, more of a fly ball pitcher here for Will Vest. You can see the 22 punchies in the 30 innings for him so far this season. But he's only allowed 1 home run. Usually if you see a guy that doesn't strike out a lot of hitters at a high rate with a pretty good fastball that sits at 96, you would suspect that maybe the home run total would be high, but that has not been the case for him.
Marcell Ozuna, his RBI single back in the first is the difference in the game right now. If you weren't with us earlier, at the bottom of the first, Kelenic singled, Albies had an RBI triple, and then Ozuna singled. But the Braves haven't scored since. And then Detroit got 1 run in the 6th. That's all the offense tonight. And now the count full. Payoff pitch from Vest, and he does get Ozuna. So a 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th. The Braves will try to win the series when we get back. Atlanta Braves baseball on Bally Sports, brought to you by Truist. Atlanta won it 2-1 last night. Trying to do the same thing here in game 2 of the series and trying to keep it that way. The closer, Raisel Iglesias.
18 for 20 so far in these opportunities. Good strikeouts for him. Excellent walk rate. We talk often about Iglesias and how efficient he has been. Whatever happens, it'll happen really fast. He has been so good in that regard. Just 14 pitches per inning. He does it, of course, with that really good changeup that he has, fastball as well. But the changeup, of course, is the big go-to pitch for Raisel Iglesias.
He's facing the bottom 3 spots in the Tigers order. Malloy, McKinstry, Kelly, the scheduled hitters. And Malloy takes the first pitch right in there at the knees. 0-1.
We talked about it yesterday. This is a kid who just does not offer at first pitches very often. Iglesias knows that, so he goes with the first pitch heater.
Try to stop his bat. He could not, says Jeremy Riggs. Just the 13th big league game for Justin Henry Malloy.
We don't see this too often, even though it hasn't been a very long career so far this season. Usually does not chase.
Swing and a miss. That one in the zone, but he couldn't get it. One away in the ninth.
Like Braves pitchers have been messing with some of these young hitters with the Detroit Tigers. You step in. What are you thinking about against Iglesias? A changeup. He didn't see one. Fastball and 2 sliders, and you're done.
Broken bat, shallow center. Kelnick charging. He's got it. 2 away. Well, when Raisel Iglesias finishes off a save, every Braves fan knows what he does. He points to the sky. Look at those shoes, CJ.
They are amazing. I love the footwear that the guys have. You can see the Braves logo on the back of the shoes as well. And we want to see that silhouette in real life here right after this hitter.
Carson Kelly, the last hope for Detroit. And Iglesias also wants to get that bad taste out of his mouth from the last game against Tampa Bay when he gave up that homer to Siri that was the difference. He's 2 strikes away. One and 2. Iglesias trying to finish it. Missing away, count even.
How about this? 8 pitches into this outing, not one changeup yet. It has been all fastballs and sliders from Iglesias.
2-2. In the air, foul. Still no changeups. And remember, when Siri hit that homer 2 nights ago, it was on a changeup down. Two down, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ooh. Full count on deck, top of the order, and Matt Vierling. Raisel's ready. Payoff pitch. Softly in the air. Ozzie says he's got it. He does. Braves win. Back-to-back 2-1 victories for Atlanta.
And huge congratulations to Spencer Schwellenbach. First big league win for him. He was absolutely fantastic. Back-to-back starts where he has looked strong. How about back-to-back 2-1 wins for this team, doing the little things, the close games, and they've done a great job here so far against the Tigers.
And Atlanta gets win number 40 in 2024 to get to 9 games over 500. And they will go for the sweep tomorrow in a matinee against the Detroit Tigers. Stay tuned now, folks. We got more coming up. Braves Live postgame presented by Xfinity. With the guys in the Battery, they will have plenty more on this matchup. It'll look ahead to tomorrow as well. We are done on our side. For CJ Nitkowski up here, for Hannah Yates downstairs, for everybody else on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin signing off and saying so long, everybody.